I'm Reginald Williams. This is my dedication video. That's my audience member number one to do the recording it. Turn the camera back on yourself so you can see.
No.
Oh, sweet.
No.
Yes, sir. And that's part number two over there. Point the camera to her so everybody can see her. Audience member number two. Alright. So this dedication is to a man that helped shape me into the man and the football player that I feel like I am today. His silent but deadly approach to the game, his hard-working approach to the game, is something that I feel like I can always model myself after and form myself into being. He had a real tough and blue-collar background, and I just loved his approach to the game. He was feared by all of those who opposed him on Sunday, but yet he was loved by the masses and the millions that tuned in to watch his electrifying running style. He was short in stature, standing only 5'8", 203 pounds when he entered the NFL, but he left a lasting impact on the NFL forever. He's one of the greatest NFL players and hands down the most elusive player to ever play the game. Of course, I'm talking about none other than number 20 for the Detroit Lions, Barry Sanders.
Had to probably turn off the brain in certain ways and just, react.
It's not always where the play is designed. I was never the type of runner that could run straight through someone. I always had to find another way to get around them.
Barry Sanders with a move that Mikhail Baryshnikov couldn't make.
Barry Sanders was born July 16th, 1968 in Wichita, Kansas. He was grew up in a big family. He was one of 11 children. He was a middle child of 11 children. What that meant basically was he wasn't the oldest boy and he wasn't a girl. So that meant he was either getting beat up a lot or never had enough time in the bathroom, if you know what I mean. He was the son of a hard-working father who was a roofer. And it was stories of Barry Sanders being out at a very young age, I think about 8 years old, on jobs with his father and the hot Wichita, Kansas sun, tarring roofs with his other brothers. And that hard-working ethic is what he took into his game of football. He was a guy that was going to fight for every yard and every inch. He was went to high school with all his brothers and sisters, and it was a gift and a curse. You know, you always have people around that you knew, but it was bad because on the playing fields, he always had to play second fiddle to his older brothers. And it wasn't until his sophomore year where his older brother actually graduated that he was able to step into the role as a starting running back for the varsity football team. And there he would excel. You know, he was an outstanding high school football player. But although his 1,400 yards was a very high number at that time in the period, he wasn't highly recruited by colleges. In fact, I think it was only 2 colleges that was offering him scholarships. And he actually took the scholarship in 1985 to the University of Oklahoma State University, where he just ran for history. At Oklahoma State University, he would go on to set 13 NCAA season records and rush for 3,800 rushing yards and 56 touchdowns. He became a collegiate, just league all-star and legend. He won the most illustrious award that a college football player would dream to win, which is the Heisman Trophy. After winning the Heisman Trophy, Barry Sanders would enter the NFL draft, and in 1989, he was the 3rd overall pick to the Detroit Lions, which still to this day became the best pick the Detroit Lions have ever made. He's the best player in the Detroit Lions franchise history and club still to this day. He's their only Hall of Fame player on their team, and he was just an outstanding star from the moment that he got into the game for them. He was the best rookie that they ever had. He rushed for 1,400 yards as a rookie and 14 touchdowns, which broke a record that was held by Billy Sims. He was the rookie of the year that year. He also was a Pro Bowler that year as a rookie. Barry had so many awards and accolades and stats that it'll take me all day really to name them all. But I'm just going to give you guys a few so you can understand what type of player Barry Sanders really was. He was the first player to have 14 consecutive 100-yard games. He was the first player to have 1,000 yards in 10 consecutive seasons. He was the first player to run for 1,500 yards in 4 consecutive seasons. He was the second leading rusher of all times, only behind Walter Payton. And he was only about 1,200 yards behind Walter Payton's record. He easily could have broke that in a season. But he retired, if you guys remember, in that after the 1998 season, just stopped it.
For 10 years, Sanders carried the Lions. By 1998, number 20 was closing in on Walter Payton's all-time rushing record. But then, without warning, Sanders retired.
It takes everything in you, really, to be good at it. I think you have to play it for the love of it. Once that leaves, I think it's time to leave. I was within striking distance of the record. It's a great record to have, but to play only because of the record is something that I didn't have it in me to do.
Barry Sanders' vision, his agility, his desire made him a feared opponent. But his heart, his work ethic made him the player that you could not wait to see and stop. He was a midget in a room full of giants, and he stood taller than all of them. He left a lasting impression on NFL and to all players of the short stature to let us know that we all can ball. Height don't mean nothing. We go hard or go home. This is my tribute to Barry Sanders.